believe we have a representative from Deadwall. Daughters of Virtue, I don't believe. Oh. There you
You look so good cleaned up. Check. Hey everybody, thank you for sticking around and watching our show. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I hope there's a few scares in there, some good story things that you appreciate and were surprised by a few things, I hope.
Yeah, let me, I just want to add, I'm going to start off by asking a couple questions, and then if anybody has any, from the audience. Well, first let me actually start with the film Deadwall. If you could just tell us your connection to it.
Okay, so my son was the DP on that project. He's currently a Chapman student. He's a junior. This was their sophomore film project. And I was able to text them. Okay, so the director, Alex, and Drew met in 2015 and have made several movies together. The director had the idea based on a real life experience in someone's home, and he wanted to show tension and pacing without words to tell a story. The film is a concept film which is about horror and a creature, but also much more. It is going to be developed, and we will learn more about the two female protagonists. I don't know if you want to hear all this. There's a lot to it. Go ahead. Okay.
Give us a few more.
Okay. The theme will involve female empowerment and domestic violence, as well as an issue of suicide. It is really in the order of the film Get Out, as it explores the horror of depression, but couched with plenty of jumps and scares, as in a commercial movie.
Cool.
Okay. So,
All right, Deadwall. Yeah, that's great.
All right.
All right, thank you so much.
Tell him thank you for showing up.
Yeah, yes, thank you. Yes, we appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk to David first in one year. How did this whole, have you always been into this idea of demons and being possessed, things like that?
Actually, no. But as independent filmmakers, you want to be able to make a statement, make people notice you a little bit. And there's a difficulty when you don't have big stars. You got to do a drama, and then it's very difficult to get that out there. And in my mind, going through horror, which has a very big audience, they just can't get enough. My good friend and co-writer Eric Bram, who lives in LA, had a comedy horror script that this was based on. And it was a very different title. It was called I Eat Your Soul. And so it was, arms being ripped off, blood everywhere, and, funny, campy lines. And I thought, but the secret in the film, the Aaron secret love, thing, was really intriguing. And I had thought, well, maybe let's make this thing a real horror. Let's make this thing something we can really sink our teeth into. And I approached Monier, who's directed a couple of different indie thrillers, and I brought in, and Joe, you were there at that meeting too, and it was one of these, can we get this done? Do it for a price. We don't need big actors. Single location, pretty much. And we worked out the logistics, and we were able to raise some money, and hey, we're in production. So that's kind of how it really got started. It was this kind of flow from a comedy horror to let's get this thing done and maybe make people notice this.
Classic example of filmmaker friends getting together and a little bit of money and just making a film happen. And we shot this thing 2 years ago, and today is the first time we're really seeing it on the big screen. So
we actually just completed a film, Joe, David, and I, a short film, and we were going to do a bed and breakfast. So we're sitting on that idea for about a month, and then the feature script from Eric Bram came, and we were sitting on my rooftop, and then from there on,
Yeah,
David said.
that's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so-
exactly
Have you directed horror before? Or?
I did. My first horror is the scene where the eyes get gouged out. The same thing happens as 10 years ago. I directed a horror called. It's a same thing. It's a thriller. It's
Yeah.
called Dissonance. Original title was Cognitive Dissonance. It's from the cognitive dissonance theory,
Okay.
and the dialogue is very didactic. It's like philosophers speaking. So, story was there. The dialogue wasn't. But this one, Eric and David,
Mhm.
they did the
Well,
writing.
yeah, I'm originally a writer, so it was kind of, you know, stick to what I know and how to create a story that hopefully there were compelling characters in this one, and there were some. What I love the most is having surprises that you didn't see coming. Maybe you did, but we do our best to try to hide that little secret throughout the movie. Have little hints along the way, and then when you get it revealed, you go, you want that euphoric feeling like, oh yes, that's, oh I saw that too, and I didn't notice. Oh, and that's so great feeling. Then you can watch it again, you know, and say, yeah, that's right. So that's something I love to do.
And how did Patrick get involved? Or
I've worked with Patrick on numerous projects, so I brought him on in the pre-production process. So then he just went in full force, and an amazing job.
He took over.
Yeah, he just
Yes.
took over.
And as far as this production, without getting into too much story, there's a lot of things that happened on this set.
Yeah.
That maybe Beelzebub was at play. I don't know. But he was definitely there. And in the cold with, you know, no heat and no running water, and this man had to figure out how to make
Honeybees.
everybody happy. And yeah, there was bees in the
Chasing bees, yeah.
yeah, in the yeah, it was crazy. So
I have to say, I mean, this is much more different of an experience. I know a lot of everybody here is filmmakers, and maybe we do short films, but shooting a feature film, being on set 30 days, you know, it's different. It's very different, and you can't, like, it's a collaborative process. You can't, nobody can do everything. So
yeah.
I was glad to support these guys. I'm a director as well, and
Mhm.
you know, we're all directors, and so.
And compliments to Derek here with the amazing. Every time I see him on the screen, I just get, you know, floored by his ability to just bring out the emotion like on cue, literally on cue. That's what he did in the audition. That's what turned us on right away. He read that scene where he's sitting there thinking about Kimberly and
the monologue.
yeah, the little monologue there, and he just bursts into tears, and you're like, oh, where'd that come from? And so, and he stuck with it. So, you have a question?
Well, I have a statement. First of all, I'd like to say that these were very big actors. So I challenge you not to use that expression again. Because
you're right.
these were actors who many of them cried on screen, who showed a lot of emotion. I want to salute all of you. Though Marnier and Joe would know that this would not be something that would resonate with me. What really did resonate with me was the fact that you embraced the deaf community.
Yeah.
And that the actors were a part of that. And I found that extremely fascinating, you know.
They all
And
had to learn.
pardon me?
All the actors had to learn.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, that was amazing.
Actor, man.
Yeah,
So kudos to you, you know?
Thank you. Thank you. That was a process.
Sandra Frank, deaf actress, she's a really amazing actress, and we were very lucky to find her.
She was on Broadway at the time in Spring Awakening, the deaf production. She was the lead in that, and we noticed her right away. She came in. A few others came in. They were all fine actors, and but she blew us away. And what we were just saying, everybody had to learn ASL for all their lines. Derek, want to talk about your experience with that at all, or?
I mean, yeah, we had enough time to work with a coach. I can't remember her name off the top of my head right
Delaney?
now.
Or no, it was Alexandra Wales?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And you know, now she's become a friend, and you know, that's a wonderful thing to meet somebody like that.
Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
I love that you guys embrace the deaf community, and I also
She did. Yes,
Wonderful.
she's a monster for sure. Yeah.
It was gorgeous. I was curious about your artwork, and also, I had a question about the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Could you just?
Yes,
Yeah.
could definitely elaborate. So that thing that, right, and I saw some reactions of you going, ah! That's I think we pronounce it proboscis. That's a fly's tongue.
Ew.
I was wondering also what that
Yeah.
was.
Beelzebub, Lord of the
Beelzebub
Flies.
is the Lord of the Flies.
No.
And that's the fly's tongue. There were some hints of flies throughout the film. If you saw like the carcass stuff in the thing, you saw butt flies buzzing around. All visual effects, by the way, those flies. They were really good actors. Sir.
Oh wait, hold on. And the artwork is
Yeah.
one of the bands I work with, Aaron Bordner, very talented graphic comic book artist.
And he does the album work for,
Great,
yeah.
great.
And we wanted to tell that story. It was a concept that we came up with, that this is, what you're seeing on the screen is just the end result of whatever that story was. The story in the sketches is all about Beelzebub through history, right? You felt this like attempt, this influence over Hitler, or John Wilkes Booth shooting Abe Lincoln, and like the different, the
opening credits.
yeah, during that whole sequence, you feel this like effort to really influence us, humanity, and you were just going to catch it now, in this moment, right now, as we're going to see that Beelzebub is going to be successful or not, to get here and do some damage. And there was a question right there.
I just want to say I like the part where she got possessed, like I think they're called the stages, but like she started eating a lot.
Oh yeah.
And I just.
And it's another sign of Beelzebub is a.
I believe.
What was that?
What's that? Forgot what the name was like, but there was like step of obsession.
Oh, there's obsession first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, Erin, the one who gets her eyes gouged out, she was obsessed through her entire life, from when she was at the top of the stairs with the shadow and all that stuff.
I really enjoyed the couple of things, a lot of the writing, but the aerial shot were very effective.
This man right here, one of the most. I just popped that up. He is one of the best drone. He's got a phenomenal skill. He's got a great drone now, even better than the one that we use. He's like upgraded, like, can we shoot it now? But it's like you should see his work.
And we dragged a drone into the house.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was actually,
Yeah. Holding that drone.
Don't ever do that. That's
for the hallway.
Yeah. The drones are fun. Yeah. That was.
Thank you.
Thank you about that. Any other thoughts?
Oh, where was it filmed?
High Falls.
Upstate New York,
By New
north of Poughkeepsie, New Paltz area, Mohawk Mountain area.
Have you guys tried to put this on Netflix?
So that's a good question. So we are in contract negotiation with a distributor right now, a very good one that caters to getting it to Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Google Play, and Apple iTunes, among other things.
Showtime.
Yeah, they'll be going in that route as well. But we're just doing all the paper, and that takes a minute, and then we're hoping for a release sometime in February or March. So we've been picked up, which is good.
And real quick, one last question. Any other projects you're working on right now? Any follow-up to Soul to Keep? Or?
Yeah.
I'm working on my Broadway musical.
Oh, cool.
Yes, he is.
Are you allowed to tell us what did you tell us anything yet? Or? No? Okay.
We'll keep that secret,
Okay.
but it's fantastic. Yes.
I'm working on, it's called Soil. It's about post-traumatic stress disorder, but soldiers coming back from overseas, and this one specifically coming back from Afghanistan, and me being Afghan, so I know the whole cultural aspect, and a dancer coming back here and trying to get her life back together. So it actually focuses more on the post-traumatic stress disorder that soldiers, civilians from war.
He comes back as a different person.
As a
He brings
whole,
back
so
that.
that's what I'm working on.
It's a good thriller. Along with that, there are follow-ups for Soul to Keep. This is a world, like that title sequence kind of implies something's happening. Things are, Beelzebub is one of many princes of hell. He kind of caught that in the film a little bit. And in fact, there are 7, and you might recognize some names like Leviathan or Lucifer, those kinds of names. And we have some ideas about how those stories also, I mean, there's going to be sequels for this where you obviously see that she wants to, or she got out, or Beelzebub survived that with the look, you know, and the feel here, something's going on. And so Beelzebub's going to have its story, and then others are going to make their way also from hell. And there will be a counter from God, and there will be the angels who are already ready, waiting for this moment, for the Armageddon. So there's a really bigger play happening with this project. And then additionally, if I just might add, I co-wrote a completely not a horror, but a very strong kind of faith-light drama, father-daughter drama about she loses her mother, and she'd been Instagramming her mom while she was dying, and then she's still doing it in heaven. And he can't. I don't know.
Tell him who you have attached.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you. So, and the hook of this idea is the father can't seem to get, he's a workaholic and he can't communicate well with his daughter, and he finds out that she's been Instagramming and still is, and he decides to respond back as his wife in heaven. And so it's this effort to get to know her, and then it's of course very dangerous if she finds out. And there's a very strong thread of faith in it, or loss of faith, and finding it back. So that's what. And we have several actors that are interested. We did a table read with, I think a lot of people might recognize from this audience from the 90s, Joey Lawrence is one of our movies that we have. Yeah, whoa, you know, that guy.
Yeah.
But we did a table read with him, and he was phenomenal. It was crazy. I was shocked. But we'll see. We'll see. There's other people that we're talking to as well. That's it.
All right, Soul to Keep coming out a couple months. That's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks for coming.